everyone. I am Dr. M. Laxmidevi, Associate Professor in the Department of CSC/DS at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today in this video lecture, we will learn about the basic structure of a C program. So in C program, we have different sections. The first one is documentation section. The next one is linking section. The next one is definition section. Then we have global declaration section. Then main function section. And then after that, we have the subprogram section. So depending upon the need of the program, so this is the overall structure of a C program. A C program need not have all the sections. In this, we have some of the sections are optional. So let us see in detail about each sections. So first one is documentation section. So documentation section is nothing but it reveals the in documentation section is nothing but comments written for the program. So documentation section consists of a set of comment lines giving the name of the program, the author details and other details of the program. So this actually tells the programmer what the program is about and some additional information regarding the program. So in documentation section, it is written in comments. So these are the comments. So we have single line comments and multi-line comments. So these are single line comments. So whatever we write after this comments, so these are not executable statements. Suppose after this we write program. So this statement will not be executed in the C program. So this is single line comment. Next we have multi-line comments. So multi-line comments are, so this is the syntax for multi-line comments. So after this we followed by whatever documentation is required. So this is a C program and the end of multi-line comments. So these are single line comments and these are multi-line comments. So whatever we write in this comment section, so these will not be executed by the program. So these are not executable statements. After this section, we have the linking section. So in linking section, C program has number of library functions. So C program has number of library functions. So functions is nothing but a block of code which performs a specific task. So in functions we have two types of functions, user defined functions and built-in functions. So library functions. So in built-in functions, functions are of two types, built-in functions and user defined functions. So built-in functions, we need functions to perform a specific task. So we know that program is nothing but a set of statements or instructions which performs a specific task. So in library functions we have, so library functions, they are followed by, they have .h extension. So library functions are defined with .h extension files. So these are also called as header files. So in the linking section, we include the header files. In the linking section, we include the header files. So in the header files, so for example, we can include the header file. Syntax to include header file is #include followed by the library function name. So here library function name is stdio.h. So this stands for standard input output. So in the program, we have functions when the program is using functions like printf and scanf. So printf is used for output and scanf is used to take the input. So these are input and output functions. So definition for these two functions are included in stdio.h. So therefore, when we include this header file in our program in the linking section, so whatever the files are defined in this header file, they will be automatically added in the program. So this linking section provides instructions to the compiler to link functions from the system library such as using #include directory. So in order to include the header files, we use this #include symbol. So another header file is #include Example of one more header file is hash include math.h. So all the math related functions, they are defined in math.h header file. So we can also create our own header file with .h extension and use it in the program. Next is definition section. So definition section, what it does is it defines all the symbolic constants. So suppose we need to suppose we are writing, we want to, some maximum value is to be defined. So that is equal to 50. So in order to define this maximum value and assign it to 50, what we do is, we do this by using hash define directive. So syntax for definition is hash define then max 50. So wherever we write in the program this max, so this variable is assigned with the value 50. So definition section defines all the symbolic constants which are using the hash define directive. Next one is global declaration section. So in the global declaration section, we declare the variables. So there are some variables that are used in more than one function. So these variables are called as global variables. So there are variables are of two types, global variables and local variables. So global variables are the variables which are available to all the functions used in the program. So their scope is not limited to one function. They are available to all the functions which are used in the program. So these variables are called as global variables and they are declared in the global declaration section, that is outside of all the functions. So this section also declares all the user defined functions. So in the global declaration function, apart from declaring global variables, we also declare user defined functions. So user defined functions are the functions which are defined by the user. So these are the functions which are defined by the user to perform a specific task. So in the global declaration section itself, we declare the user defined function also. So this we'll see with the help of the example. Next comes the main function section. So every C program must have one main function section. So this is obligatory or it is necessary. So this section contains two parts. So syntax here is, main function is user created function. So int is nothing but the return type of this main function. After this we have the curly braces. So this implies that the main function has started. This indicates the beginning of the program execution, whereas ending or closing braces indicates the ending of the program execution. So in this we can write, after that at the end of this main function, so we have to write return 0. So this return 0 here we have written because here the return type of this main function is integer type. So this is how we define the main function. So every C program must have one main function. So this is compulsory. So every program must have one main function. This section contains two parts. So in this section, we have again two parts, declaration part and executable part. So let us see the first one, declaration part. So in the declaration part, we declare the variables. We declare the variables. So these variables are nothing but local variables. So local variables, the scope is limited to main function itself. So they cannot be accessed outside the main function. So declaration part declares all the variables which are used in the executable part. So in this section itself or in this part itself, we can initialize the local variables also. Next is executable part. So executable part contains at least one statement in the executable part. So it can contain either one statement or it can contain more than one statement. So these two parts, so that is declaration part And second one is executable part. They must appear between the opening and closing braces. So actually we have seen this. So this is int main function, opening and closing braces. First comes the declaration part, and then comes the executable part. So program execution begins at the opening brace and ends at the closing brace. So closing brace of the function is logical end of the program. So all the statements in the executable and declaration part, they must end with a semicolon. We'll understand this with the help of one example. Next comes the subprogram section. So subprogram section is also optional. So if the program is multifunction program, so then the subprogram section contains all the user-defined functions. So that are called in the main function. So user-defined functions, so these are generally placed after the main function, although they may appear in any order. So in the subprogram section, we actually have the function definitions for user-defined functions. So this is a sample program. So in order to understand the structure of C program, so this is a sample program to understand the structure of C program. So we have seen that in the structure of C program, first one is documentation section. The second one is linking section. Next one is definition section. Next one is global declaration section. After that, main function section. Then in this we have the declaration part, and then executable part. So after the end of this, we have the subprogram section. So we have seen that documentation section is nothing but it describes what the program is about. It gives a clarity to the programmer by including in comments. So what the program is about and who is the author and the other program details, etc. Next is linking section. So with the help of this linking section, we include the header files which are used. So in the header files, there are some functions. Function definitions are present in the header files. So, and then next one is definition section. So whatever symbolic constants we need to use in the program, so that is declared here, so that we can define and declare here. So in the global declaration section, we define the global variables, and in the any C program should have at least one main. It should have one main function. So this section is obligatory or it is essential. So in the main function, we have two parts, declaration part and executable part. So in the declaration part, we declare the local variables, and in the executable part, we write the statements or this includes the set of statements or the instructions which are executed by the program. Next comes the subprogram section. So in the subprogram section, so this is nothing but user defined functions. So here we write the definition for user defined functions. So in this subprogram section, we write the definition for user defined functions. Next, so this is a sample program as you can see here. So in this, we will compare. So what are the different sections we have included here? So we have not included documentation section in this program. So this is optional. So this is optional, but if you write this documentation section, so if you write any statements within this documentation section by using comments, by using single line comments or multi-line comments, by using single line comments or multi-line. So it enhances the readability of the program. Also it increases the clarity of the program. Next coming to linking section. So in the linking section, we have included this stdio.h header file. So stdio.h header file, so abbreviation for this standard input output. So in this header file, there are some functions. So here in this program, we have used the printf function. So printf function, for this printf function, the definition for this printf function is included in this stdio.h header file. So that's why we have in the linking section we have included this stdio.h header file. Next one is definition section. So for this program, so we have not used any constants. So therefore, this section is also optional. This section is optional. Coming to the linking section, so as we have seen that this is so by default in some of the compilers, so this is implicitly included. So no need to even if you don't include this header file also stdio.h, so the program will run. Next is definition section. So this is also optional. We have not defined any symbolic constants here. Next one is global declaration section. So we have not used any global variables also. So that section is also not included in this program. Next is main function. So this is the main function, as you can see here. So every C program should have one main function. So the return type of this function is int. Then after that, main function. And then this curly braces indicates the starting and ending of the program. So this indicates the starting of the program, and this curly brace indicates the end of the program. So in this, after this, it follows the declaration part. So you can see here, declaration part, we have not used or we have not declared any variables. So we have not used any local variables here. Coming to executable part. So as you can see here, in the executable part, we have written one statement. So executable part can contain one or more statements. After that, since the return type of this main function is integer, so we have to include return 0 here. So after that, followed by a semicolon. So there are some rules to be followed. So in the declaration and executable part, whatever the statements we write, so those statements must end with a semicolon. So we have not used in this program subprogram function also, because we have not defined any user defined functions here. So we have not used any user defined functions. So let us understand these different sections with the help of one more program. So this is another program you can see here. So these are multi-line comments. These are multi-line comments, and these are single line comments. So single line comments. So these are single line comments, and these are multi-line comments. So in the documentation section, we have included multi-line comments. So that is name, sample program, author is IARE. Next, after that, linking section. So in the linking section, we have included #include stdio.h header file. Next, in the definition section, so we have defined a constant. So the syntax to define this constant is #define max array length 20. So wherever max array length is used in the program, so there its value will be automatically 20. So we can use this variable anywhere in the program. So its value will be 20. Next is global variable, global declaration section. So this is global declaration section. So here we have declared a global variable max input length and assigned it as 15. So its value is 15. So this max input length, wherever it is accessed, so its value will be 15. So this is a global variable. Next, after that, so this section also contains user defined function. So this is the prototype. So here we have declared a user defined function. which has been defined later. So this is just declaration of user defined function. So this is the name of the function and this is a return type of the function, and inside this we have the arguments. So this arguments depends upon the type of the depends upon the need and necessity of the program. Next is int main. So this is a main function. The return type of this is int. So and at the end of this int main function we have written return 0. So inside this main function, so we have declared a local variable. So this is a local variable and its value is 50. So this local variable can be accessed only inside this int main function. So it cannot be accessed outside the main function. Next, these are the, so this is declaration part and these are the executable statements which are there in the executable part. So in the executable part, we have written printf. So max array length. So wherever we are using max array length, its value will be 20 because it is a constant. And here we can access this value also. We can access the value of this variable, that is global variable, inside the main function also by using this same name. Next after this, so all these, next after this we have used the name of the function. So same name, whatever we have used here. So this is function. We are calling the function. So here we have declared a function. So here we need to call the function. So when the function is called, the control will be transferred here. So where the actual definition of the program is. So in the subprogram section, we have defined the function for add numbers. So the prototype for which has been declared here. So the return type of this is float and it has 2 arguments. So whatever the task of the function is, so that is defined here. So what the function is here, the function is used for, the function add numbers is used for adding 2 numbers A and B. So this is the basic structure of a C program. So in C program, so the obligatory section is int main function. Obligatory section is main function. So remaining sections like documentation section, then global definition section, then global declaration section, and then user defined in here itself we declare the global variables also. We declare the user defined function also. Then at the end of this, so inside the main function we have a declaration and executable part. So this is important section. This has to be included in every C program. And then subprogram section is also optional. So if we are using any user defined functions, then it can have subprogram section, else it is not necessary. So there are some rules to be followed when you are writing C program. So every C program should have main function. So that is what we have seen till now. In C, statement should be terminated by a semicolon. So inside the int main function, whatever the statements we are writing, so all the statements must terminate with a semicolon. At some places, comma operator is also permitted. So unessential semicolon, if placed by the programmer, it is treated as an empty statement. So all the statements should be written in lowercase letters. So generally we prefer uppercase letters only for symbolic constants. Next is blank spaces can also be inserted between the words. This leads to improvement in readability of the statements. However, this is not applicable when we are declaring a variable, keyword, constant and function. So we'll see what are the rules to be adopted or followed for declaring a variable and naming a variable. It is not necessary to fix the position of the statement in the program. The programmer can write the statement anywhere between 2 braces following the declaration part. So user can also write one or more statements in one line, separating them with a semicolon. So here is an example for this. So you can write this as in 2 lines, or you can combine the 2 lines and write it in a single line. Both are correct. So but these 2 statements or these 2 expressions, they have to be separated by a semicolon. Then opening and closing braces should be balanced. That means if opening braces are 4, then closing braces should also be 4. So these are the different rules to be followed when we are writing a C program.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.